Our next movie is Ernest Scared Stupid. And although there have been 3 earlier Ernest movies, and I try to see most everything, somehow those other 3 managed to escape me, and so this is my first exposure to the friendly local garbage man played by Jim Varney. 200 years ago, the area was beset by dangerous trolls, monsters that were finally subdued by being buried and having a giant tree planted on top of them. That's what they should have done with this movie. Watching Jim Varney playing Ernest there, I was taken back to my childhood and reminded of the character that Huntz Hall used to play in the Bowery Boys movies. Boy, I used to love those Bowery Boys movies. And you know what? If I were 8 years old, I might have liked Ernest Scared Stupid, too.
Maybe. You know, I think happened in this picture. I've seen the other ones.
Oh, yeah?
I don't like him. I like this picture the least of them all is that it takes about 25 minutes to get rolling before they set the troll stuff in action. And the first 25 minutes of that is really boring if you're 8 or 1 or 45.
In 1991, Touchstone Pictures decides to deliver a bomb. Ernest Scared Stupid, an absolute brilliant, brave choice to aim a Halloween haymaker, a right cross right at America's youth just in time for Halloween. Ernest Scared Stupid is an undeniable classic, hated by critics, loved by fans and families alike. Ernest Scared Stupid stands the test of time. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. This is Josh here checking in on you out there in YouTube land. Give yourself a quick little stretch and a bend. We are talking about family films, feature family films from 1991. No, not Focus on the Family, not the Buttercream Gang, none of that on our own Rigoletto stuff. We're talking about Ernest P. Worrell, Ernest Scared Stupid. This is a banger. I adore this movie. Let's break it down. But first, thanks so much for watching. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, all that shit I tell you to do. Send it to a friend, send it to a loved one, send it to anybody you want. Just send it, baby. Let's get into Ernest Scared Stupid. So my history with Ernest Scared Stupid goes back to being an 80s kid and my parents bringing it home from the video store. My only other really foray into the Ernest P. Worrell, filmography was Ernest Goes to Camp, and I thought that was a really, really good movie, being 5 or 6, and it also made me really sad. The Rain song, am I right? So when they brought home Ernest Scared Stupid, I thought maybe they were playing a prank on me. I'm not supposed to be watching, are we watching scary movies? This seems like this is an adult movie. And by the way, there's some spoilers because this movie's 33 years old, and we're just going to talk about it. There are trolls, and there are scenes with trolls stealing souls. There's killer clowns in this movie. This thing has some hair-raising moments. It actually does. Being a little kid, being 7 or 8 when this thing came out, it freaked me out, man. The little voice that the guy uses, poor rim shot, everybody running from this thing. I was scared of this little 3-foot troll, this little billy goat gruff. Absolutely petrified. So just off the cuff, I love everything about this movie. My favorite part is probably the intro where it's got the music and it's like dun 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 dun. And it swells and it's got this kind of classic Universal Monsters kind of feel to it, and it shows clips of black and white, really fast moving images. It feels like a montage of just the Universal characters. I absolutely love the intro to this film. So yeah, this movie sets the table, absolutely, as it starts off as kind of like this children's fable, this kind of warning where, we're introduced to Salem, Massachusetts, and come to think of it, this might be where my fascination with Salem and the Salem witch trials came from. Interesting, pretty crazy, pretty thematic, pretty intense, heavy material for kids of that age when this came out. So it's a classroom, and there's this young child doing kind of her presentation, her book report, her dissertation on the Salem witch trials and what happened and how there was a curse, and the oldest living relative was the only one to kind of set this thing free. And of course, that has to be Ernest. He has to be the last living relative. He's got to cause problems. He unleashes this troll, this being, this absolute horrific creature named Trantor. Yea, I call forth thee, Trantor. And he has to knock, right? Do a little jig, dance around, try to make sure it's not a big deal, and a little comedic relief, you know what I mean, Vern? Ernest fucking causes all sorts of hell in this poor fucking town for this. Oh, it's so good. So shout out to Ernest Scared Stupid and that fucking troll Trantor for giving me nightmares for years. You know, I'm kind of a taller guy, but being afraid of something that's only 3 feet tall that wants to steal your soul, rip it out stored in a hollow ass tree, dogs included, and make you a piece of wood scared me so bad. He was drooling, he's walking all crazy, just coming at you, just fucking booger lips, this guy. But equally creepy was the witch and her hoarding in the house outside when Ernest rolls up and the kids have to go in there. I mean, she's definitely trying to sell it, which is like laughing all maniacally. The witch is creepy, the troll's creepy, the special effects, the killer clown's nod. Pretty cool. I just learned that the other day, that the killer clowns from outer space, there's a bunch of the dummies in this movie. Shout out to the special effects and Ernest Scared Stupid. So as a kid, I watched this movie constantly. It was one of my camping movies. My parents would allow us to bring a TV and VCR. They would run a cable and my cousins would like sleep in this tent, and Ernest Scared Stupid was always on the docket. It was kind of like a fall asleep movie for a long time, even though it was kind of creepy. Like there was something about the sound design, something about Ernest was just family friendly, made me feel good, wacky, zany, slapsticky. Ernest, he just, yeah, I just love him. So yeah, I definitely have a soft spot for Ernest. All of those movies, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, Slam Dunk Ernest. I absolutely love him. I love all of his friends. I love that whole cast of characters from Vern, Jake, you know, Bobby, like all these crazy people that use Ernest as kind of the bait to do all their fucking bidding. Love Ernest. Love the whole, like, the universe that they're in. And you guys had spoken. I thought I was going to be talking about Little Monsters. I really thought this was going to win as one of the kind of like early 90s. Actually, this is 89, but, you know, kind of like a family-friendly horror comedy that's got some thematic scary elements. But the people spoke. They wanted Ernest Scared Stupid. I absolutely love it. I watch it every Halloween. It's on my list. I only have so many days to watch horror movies, but I make sure I cram this one in there no matter what. Ernest Scared Stupid, you can't do much better for family-friendly horror. A lot of people like Hocus Pocus. I'm an Ernest Scared Stupid guy. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to check in with you again soon. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share with anybody you want. Talk some shit down there, whatever you want to do. Can't wait to see you again soon. Cheers.
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?